Right guys, question 10. Now personally, I love questions with drawings. It's a chance for you to show some of your artistic skills and get the question right at the same time. The most important thing to take away when doing questions which involve diagrams and shapes is to read the question carefully and pay attention to the units. In this case, we're dealing with meters. Now question 10 states that a rectangular field is 94 meters long and 78 meters wide. And we have to find the perimeter of the field. Now, the question is very easy as long as you know what all the key terms means. So here I want you to pay attention to the length, the width, and also the shape that it is. And then you look at the question. In this case, we're asked to find the perimeter. In other cases, it may be the area. So drawing the shape, what we have is a simple rectangle. Now, okay, nothing too difficult here. Okay, and just remember the length was 94 and the width was 78. It's common to get those two things mixed around, but a good way to remember it is if you're looking at the width, you're looking at how wide the shape is, right? How almost fat the shape is. So the width would be this distance here, and that value would be 78. Okay? And the length would be how long the shape is. So in this case, the length would be 94. Now clearly this isn't drawn to scale. If the length was 94, which is greater than 78, then this side should be longer than the other side. But that's not what's important. The important thing is that you realize where the width is and where the length is. So the length is 94 there, and the width is 78 here. Now, a good thing to remember about rectangles is that two sides are of the same length. Okay, they have two sides, each of which are the same length. So if this is 78, this side here, which is the width, should also be 78. And if the length here is 94, then the length here should also be 94. So they correspond. Okay, notice that this is different to when you have a square. In a square, believe it or not according to my drawing, but in a square, all sides are of the same length. So for example, if this was 3, then all other sides would be 3. But in a rectangle, the key difference is you have two sides which are the same, and the other sides will also be the same. For example, if these were both 4. Right. Now, with this new information, now we need to break down what the perimeter actually means. Now, to get the perimeter, you add up the value of all the sides. Now, in this case, that would be 78 plus 78 plus 94 plus 94. Okay, and that would give you your perimeter. An easy way to work out this calculation would be 70 plus 70 plus 90 plus 90 plus 8 plus 8 plus 4 plus 4. This is a bit longer, but it would make sure you have much less chance of making a mistake. So this would be 140 plus 180, because it's like adding two 9s and putting a 0 at the end. This would be 16 plus 8, which is 24. Now, notice how I'm going to do this next step. I can split this up to 140 plus 180 plus 20 plus 4. And this is equal to, now the 20 and 180 fit in quite nicely to give you 200 plus 140 plus 4. And then you just add this together again to give you 344. Now, an important thing I don't want you guys to miss out is the units. So don't forget that this is in meters. It's good to break the question down, especially if you're not that comfortable with your addition. But another way of doing this is to say, okay, if these two sides are the same and these two sides are the same, the answer I should actually get is also going to be equal to 94 plus 78 times 2. Now, 94 plus 78 is 172. And if you're having trouble working this out, I'm sure you could review the previous lectures. Now, 172 times 2 is indeed 344, what units, guys? Meters. And don't forget. So there's several ways of working the same question out. But the key point is that when you're dealing with questions like these, diagrams are a must. You draw the diagrams, you figure out where the width is, where the length is, and if you're working at the perimeter, you add them all up. Now, if you're working at the area, which it would be 78 times 94, and that would be a much tougher calculation. Moving on to the next question. Now, question 11. This question is again about a diagram, shapes, and adding up the length and height to make the perimeter. Now, what I want you to look out for with this diagram is the units, which in this case are centimeters, not meters. And notice that this shape might look a bit awkward, but a simple trick or two would make the answer very simple to understand. Okay, so what we have here is the shape, and the thing to understand here is that if this side is 6 and the length in this case is 6 and the width is 8, then for the staircase to be of this height on the same side, all of these small areas that you see here will also be of length 6 divided by 1, 2, 3, 4. So this would be of length 6 over 4, which would be actually 1.5. So this would be of length 1.5 here. And this area here would also be, this length here would also be of 1.5. This length here would also be of length 1.5. And so with this. Notice that I'm talking here about the actual length and not the width. So I'm referring to, when I say length, I'm referring to the small part from here to there. So this bit here, not this bit. And when I add all of these up, lo and behold, I still get 6. Similarly, there's 1, 2, 3, and 4 parts that the width is divided into. Now, if I were to add all these 4 parts up, this would be 2, 2, 2, 2. Notice that this is where we use the fact that it's not drawn to scale. Right? Even though this may look smaller than this one, it actually isn't. And all these parts are actually 2. So total length here is 8. Now again, it looks like you're working at the area of a rectangle. It's the perimeter of a rectangle again. And in some senses you are, but what they've actually done is just made the shape a bit more complicated, and this is what they'll do in the exam. But what you need to realize is that if the length on this side is 6, then for the staircase to go up all the way to that length there, the height must eventually increase, and in this case it increases in parts of 1.5 to get 6, and the width for the staircase to span from all the way from here to there, it must increase in the width direction in 2. And the units, guys, don't forget, is centimeters. So if I add all these units up, what I'd actually get is 8 plus 6 plus 6 plus 8, and that gives me a total answer 28 centimeters.